Dismantle that roof. A woman who cannot feed herself is stealing charity money.
We found this envelope under her mattress. She took that old woman for money.
The first sheet of zinc crashed to the ground beside Amaka's knees. Dust rose around her face. Her akara tray lay upside down in the red sand. Beans, oil and ash mixed together while the entire village watched as if her disgrace was Sunday entertainment. "Break the remaining roof!" Wale Adebayo shouted, pointing at her tiny house. A woman who cannot feed herself is now collecting strangers and stealing charity money. Laughter scattered through the square. Amaka's cheek burned from the slap Yemi had given her. Two men dragged another sheet from the roof while Yemi raised a thick envelope above her head. "We found this under her mattress," she screamed. She kidnapped that confused old woman because of money. Beside Amaka stood Halima, her ivory kaftan stained with mud and dried blood. "She saved my life," the elderly woman said. Nobody listened. Then the ground began to tremble. One black SUV entered the village, then another, then two more, followed by an ambulance. The laughter died. The first door opened. A powerful man stepped out, stared at the injured woman, and whispered one word: "Mum." Before you hear what happened next, subscribe now, because leaving this story halfway will pain you. And tell us in the comments, where are you listening from? And what time is it there? 38 hours earlier, rainwater had begun dropping through Amaka Nwosu's roof at exactly 5:17 on Friday morning. One drop landed inside the aluminium bowl near her bed. Another landed on the floor beside the charcoal stove. The third landed on the corner of an old exercise book where she kept every record of money that entered or left her hands. Amaka woke at once. Not this one again. She pushed herself up from the thin mattress and moved the exercise book before the water could soak through the pages. The room was still dark. The electricity had gone off before midnight, and the small rechargeable lamp on her wooden stool had already died. She struck a match. The flame trembled in her fingers. Her one-room house stood at the edge of Aiyetoro-Ketu, behind a row of cassava farms, and one narrow path that turned to red mud whenever rain fell. The walls were made from cement blocks her late husband had bought in batches. Some parts had never been plastered. The zinc roof carried patches of rust and 3 holes Amaka could name without looking. The one above the bed, the one above the stove, the stubborn one near the window that only leaked when the wind came from the east. That morning, all 3 were working together. Amaka placed bowls under them, tied her cobalt blue blouse tighter around her waist, and sat on the low stool beside the stove. Her sunflower yellow wrapper had faded at the hem, but she kept it clean. She had washed it the previous night and hung it over a rope inside the room, because thieves had stolen 2 wrappers from a neighbor's line the week before. On the stool lay 6 small piles of naira notes. Amaka counted them again. 3,600 naira for beans, 2,100 for palm oil, 800 for onions and pepper, 1,400 for charcoal, 2,000 for the market fee Yemi Okoro had increased without explanation, and 1,700 naira she had kept inside a brown envelope for cough medicine and zinc patches. Amaka looked at the roof. Then she coughed into her elbow. The cough had been troubling her for 11 days. It was dry in the morning and deep at night. Sometimes her chest tightened when she bent over hot oil. Simi Daniels, the nurse at the community clinic, had told her not to ignore it. But medicine did not multiply money. Amaka took 500 naira from the medicine envelope and added it to the charcoal pile. Then another 500. "God understands," she whispered. She wrote the change in her exercise book. Friday the 14th of June. Charcoal shortage, extra 1,000 naira. Medin valance. 700. Her handwriting was small and straight. She had learned basic bookkeeping during a short accounting course in Enugu. Years before marriage brought her to Aiyetoro-Ketu. She had never completed the course. Her husband, Kalu, used to say she could make sense from numbers, even when people were trying to hide nonsense inside them. Kalu had died 3 years earlier at a construction site outside Sagamu. A concrete support failed. 4 men were injured. 2 died before reaching the hospital. The contractor paid for the burial and disappeared. Kalu's older brothers sold the motorcycle he had left behind, saying there were debts. They collected 2 bundles of zinc from the compound, saying they had contributed to the marriage. By the time they finished mourning him, Amaka had inherited the unfinished house, a stove, 2 plastic chairs, and debts she had never seen before. She stopped crying after the first year, not because the pain had ended, because crying required strength. By 6:10 that morning, she was walking toward the market with a basin balanced on her head and a small bag of charcoal hanging from one hand. The rain had softened into mist. Smoke rose from cooking fires. Roosters moved through the puddles with the confidence of landlords. Aiyetoro-Ketu was not a large village. It had 1 primary school, 1 small clinic, 2 churches, 1 mosque, a police outpost that opened when an officer was available, and a market that operated fully every 3rd day. Most families farmed cassava, maize, or vegetables. Others traveled to Abeokuta for labor and returned at weekends with stories of traffic and expensive food. At the center of the village stood a long, cream-colored building with green roofing sheets. The Aiyetoro Cassava Processing and Women's Enterprise Center. That was the name painted on the wall when the building opened 3 years earlier. Now the letters had peeled. The main doors were locked. The solar-powered borehole beside it worked only when it wanted to. The grating machines had not made a sound in more than 2 years. Yet every trader in the market still paid what the development committee called a maintenance levy. Amaka slowed as she passed. A fresh tire mark cut across the mud behind the building. She noticed because the center was supposed to be empty. Then she noticed something else. The blue metal sign that had once carried the name Bello Harvest Foundation was gone. Only 4 rusty bolts remained on the wall. Why are you squeezing your face like the building owes you money? Amaka turned. Yemi Okoro stood beneath a wide umbrella, dressed in an electric fuchsia blouse and a black wrapper printed with gold flowers. Her gel rose above her forehead like a crown. 2 younger women followed her, carrying receipt books and a plastic cash box. Yemi was 45 and chairwoman of the Market Women's Association. She had once sold smoked fish on a wooden table. People still remembered when she borrowed salt on credit. But after Wal Adebayo became chairman of the Village Development Committee, Yemi's table became a shop. Her shop became 2. Then she became the person who decided where every trader would sit, how much each person would pay, and whose goods could be seized for disobedience. Amaka shifted the basin on her head. Good morning, Madam Yemi. Is that how to greet your market mother? Good morning, Ma. Yemi's eyes moved over Amaka's blouse, wrapper, and worn brown slippers. You have not paid the emergency sanitation levy. Amaka blinked. Which one is that? Yemi clicked her tongue. See question. Ordinary akara seller is asking which one. The gutters are full. The market must be cleaned. But we paid sanitation last Monday. That was normal sanitation. And this one? Emergency sanitation. How much? 1,500. Amaka lowered the basin to the ground carefully. Please, write it on a receipt. The 2 women behind Yemi exchanged glances. Yemi's mouth opened slowly. You want receipt? Yes, ma. For 1,500 naira. Yes, ma. Yemi laughed once, hard and without joy. You sell 6 trays of akara and ask questions like an auditor. Is it receipt you will fry for your customers? Some traders nearby began to listen. Amaka kept her voice low. It is not a fight. I only want to know what I am paying for. Poor people are becoming too bold these days. Because we allow you to sit near the main road, you think you are a stakeholder. I am not saying that. You do not need to say it. Your face has already said too much. Yemi turned to one of the women behind her. Write her name under debtors. If she does not pay before tomorrow, remove her space. Madam Yemi, carry your basin and go. Do not let your poverty make you deaf. Amaka lifted the basin again. She did not answer, but she wrote the amount in her mind. 1,500. No receipt, no meeting, no explanation. At the market, she arranged her table beneath a torn blue umbrella. By 8 o'clock, the first batch of akara hissed inside the hot palm oil. The smell pulled laborers, school staff and motorcycle riders toward her stall. Amaka worked fast. Scoop, drop, turn, drain. She served akara inside old newspaper sheets and measured pap from a covered bucket. Her hands moved with the discipline of someone who knew one careless spill could swallow a day's profit. Near 10 o'clock, an elderly cassava farmer named Mama Tola stopped beside the stall. Her head tie was soaked. She looked toward the abandoned processing center and shook her head. They have brought another truck there in the night, she said. Amaka lowered her voice. You saw it? My grandson saw men carrying something. That machine with the iron wheel. The small press? Mama Tola nodded. They said it was going for repair. Who said? Whale's cousin. Amaka handed her 2 akara balls. Mama Tola reached for money. Leave it, Ma. No, I will pay when I sell Gary. Take it. Mama Tola accepted the food and leaned closer. They are still collecting maintenance money. But one by one, the machines are leaving. Is it the empty building we are maintaining? Before Amaka could answer, a horn blasted from the road. A white pickup entered the market square, splashing muddy water over 2 baskets of tomatoes. Wole Adebayo sat in the back seat, dressed in a wine-red senator outfit with a matching cap. A heavy gold watch shone on his wrist. The vehicle stopped near Yemi's shop. 2 men jumped down before Whale stepped out. He was 49, broad in the chest and careful with his smile. He greeted chiefs by bending slightly. He greeted poor people by lifting 2 fingers as if dismissing flies. Yemi hurried toward him. Chairman, welcome. Whale looked across the market. Everything is peaceful? Very peaceful. Only small stubbornness from people who do not know their level. Her eyes flicked toward Amaka. Whale followed the look. He walked to the stall. Amaka. Good morning, sir. I heard you are refusing to support market sanitation. I did not refuse, sir. I asked for a receipt. Whale smiled. Receipt. Yes, sir. Did you receive receipt when this market road was graded? No, sir. Did you receive receipt when the borehole was repaired? It has not been working well, sir. The air changed. The traders closest to Amaka suddenly became busy with their goods. Whale rested one hand on the edge of her table. Listen to me. Leadership is not groundnut that everybody will be cracking with dirty fingers. When we make a decision, you obey. People like you should thank God there is still a place where you can put your stove. Amaka's throat tightened. Yes, sir. Whale picked 1 akara ball from the tray without paying. He broke it in half, examined the inside, and dropped both pieces back among the others. You even put too much onion. No wonder profit is running away from you. Yemi laughed. Whale turned to leave. Mama Tola spoke before fear could stop her. Chairman, what of the cassava machine they carried away? Whale stopped. Nobody moved. He turned his head slowly. Which machine? The one from the women's center. Who told you it was carried away? My grandson saw. Your grandson should face his own life. The machine has gone for maintenance. Mama Tola lowered her eyes. Wales stepped closer to her. Some of you have eaten free support until gratitude has left your body. The Foundation brought machines. Government brought borehole. We brought training. Still, your mouth is moving like broken fan. He looked around the market. Anybody who spreads lies about the development center will answer to the committee. Then, he climbed into the pickup. As the vehicle drove away, Amaka saw the back tire pass over a discarded metal plate near the roadside. Blue paint, white letters. Only 2 words were still visible beneath the mud. Bellow harvest. Amaka watched until the pickup disappeared. Something was wrong. Far outside the village, on the Abeokuta-Ijebu road, Dr. Halima Bello was telling a driver named Akin that he had passed the turn. "You should have entered where the palm trees are," she said. Akin slowed the grey Toyota sedan. "Ma, the map is showing another road. The map is taking us to the chairman's house. Is that not where the meeting is?" "There is no meeting." Akin looked at her through the rearview mirror. Halima sat straight in the back seat, one hand resting over a brown leather bag. Her ivory kaftan was plain but finely cut. A deep burgundy shawl lay across her shoulders. On her blouse was a silver brooch shaped like a branch. At 68, Halima did not raise her voice often. She had spent 32 years in agricultural economics, first in public service, then in private consulting, before helping establish Bello Harvest Foundation with her late husband. She had learned that people who lied in reports were usually prepared for announced visits. So she had told nobody in Aiyetoro-Ketu she was coming. Not Whale, not the project coordinator, not even Victor George, the foundation's compliance director, until that morning. She had received 3 anonymous letters in 5 months. The first claimed the cassava machines had stopped working. The second said women's signatures were copied onto loan documents. The third contained one sentence written in blue ink: "Come without convoy if you want to see where your money went." Halima had shown the letters to Victor. Victor wanted security, local police notice, and a formal inspection team. Halima refused. "By the time 10 vehicles arrive, they will plant flowers inside the gutter," she had said. Victor argued for 20 minutes. They compromised. A hired vehicle, a driver, a tracking application on Halima's phone, a call every 2 hours, and a security team waiting in Abeokuta unless she missed 2 check-ins. At 11:43 in the morning, the sedan's front left tire burst. The sound cracked across the road. Akin gripped the steering wheel and pulled over. Halima's shoulder struck the door, but she remained upright. "Ma, are you okay?" "I am fine. Check the tire." Akin stepped out and crouched beside it. The rubber had torn badly. He opened the boot. No usable spare. The spare tire was flat. Akin pressed both hands to his head. "This rental company wants to disgrace me. Call them." No network. Halima checked her phone. 1 weak bar appeared, vanished, then returned. A cluster of roofs could be seen beyond the cassava fields. "How far is the village?" she asked. "Maybe 4 kilometers to the first houses, Ma. But the road is rough." "The processing center should be closer than that," Akin frowned. "You want to walk?" "I want signal. Ma, please wait inside. I will find a motorcycle or mechanic." Halima looked at the sky. Clouds were gathering again. "I will walk toward the center. You follow when you sort the tire." "No, Ma. That is not the arrangement." The arrangement did not include a flat spare. "Madam Halima, I am not crossing a desert, Akin." She took her bag and stepped onto the dirt road. Akin came around the vehicle. "At least let me come with you, and leave the car open with our things inside. Stay. If you find a bike, come after me." Halima had spent her life being called stubborn, by men who meant difficult to control. Sometimes they were wrong. That afternoon, they were not. She walked beneath the hot, wet air for 27 minutes. Twice, her phone found signal. Twice, a call to Victor failed before connecting. At 12:19, she sent one message. Reached project area. Will call after inspection. The processing center appeared behind a line of banana trees. From a distance, it looked complete. Cream walls, green roof, solar panels, a water tank. Up close, the story changed. The borehole tap had no handle. 2 solar panels were cracked. The office window was boarded from inside. Weeds grew around the entrance. Halima's eyes moved to the wall, where the foundation sign should have been. 4 rusty bolts remained. She took out her phone. One photograph. Then another. Around the back, she heard metal scraping over concrete. Halima stepped carefully along the wall and looked around the corner. 3 men were pushing a cassava press onto the back of a blue truck. One of them wore a green football jersey. Another held a crowbar. The third, a thick-set man with a scar near his ear, supervised. "Lift that side," he said. Chairman said the truck must leave before evening. Halima raised her phone and took 3 pictures. The man in the football jersey saw her. "Who is that?" All 3 turned. Halima did not run. "Good afternoon," she said. "Where are you taking that machine?" The thick-set man walked toward her. "Who are you?" I asked a simple question. "This place is not open. I can see that. Where is the inventory register?" The scar near his ear tightened as he smiled. "Mama, are you lost?" "No." "Then continue where you are going." Halima lifted the phone. "The equipment belongs to a funded community project." "I need the name of the contractor removing it." The man's smile disappeared. "Give me that phone." Halima stepped back. "You will not touch me." The other 2 came closer. The man in the jersey glanced toward the road. "Baba Sola, collect it. Somebody may come." The thick-set man reached for Halima's wrist. She swung the leather bag at his shoulder. The crowbar fell. "Are you mad?" he shouted. Halima tried to move around him. But the ground behind the building sloped into an unfinished drainage channel. A hand caught her shawl. Another grabbed the bag. She pulled back. The strap snapped. For one sharp second, Halima's feet lost the ground. Then she fell. Her hip struck the edge of the channel. The side of her head hit packed earth. Light burst behind her eyes. She heard voices above her as if they were coming through water. "See what you have done." She fell by herself. "Take the phone." "What of the bag?" "Move the truck." Halima tried to speak. No sound came. The blue truck engine started. Mud pressed cold against her cheek. Then the world folded inward. When Halima opened her eyes, the sky had changed color. The afternoon sun had moved behind clouds. Her mouth was dry. One shoe was missing. Pain pulsed from her forehead into her jaw. She pushed her palms against the earth and tried to rise. The channel tilted beneath her. She sat again. Her bag was gone. Her phone was gone. Her shawl lay half inside a puddle. Halima touched her forehead and saw blood on her fingers. "Help," she called. The word came out thin. She called again. Nothing answered except insects. At 3:31 that afternoon, Amaka was returning from Mama Tola's cassava plot with a small sack of firewood balanced against her hip. Business had been poor. Rain kept customers away, and Yemi had stood near her stall long enough to frighten those who bought on credit. Amaka sold less than half the akara she prepared. She had taken the remaining pieces to Mama Tola, who exchanged them for firewood and cassava leaves. The shorter path home passed behind the abandoned processing center. Amaka nearly avoided it. Whale had warned people not to go there, but the longer path was flooded. She adjusted the sack and entered the narrow trail. Halfway past the drainage channel, something silver flashed near a stone. Amaka stopped, It was a brooch shaped like a branch. She picked it up. Then she heard breathing. Not normal breathing. A rough pull of air followed by silence. Amaka dropped the firewood. Hello? No answer. She stepped toward the channel and saw the burgundy shawl first, then the ivory cloth, then the woman. Jesus. Amaka climbed down carefully. Halima's eyes opened halfway. Ma, can you hear me? Halima tried to move. Do not stand yet, Amaka said. Please. Did you fall? My bag. We will look for it. First tell me where you are feeling pain. Halima raised one hand toward her head. Your neck? Your back? My head. Hip. Amaka remembered Simi once warning people not to drag an injured person upright after a motorcycle crash. She crouched beside Halima and checked whether she was breathing evenly. Then she looked for heavy bleeding. The cut on the forehead had slowed, but dried blood had run toward Halima's ear. Amaka removed her indigo head scarf, folded it, and pressed it gently against the wound. Hold this, Ma. Halima's hand shook. Amaka supported it. 2 young men passed on the path above them, each carrying a hoe. My brothers, Amaka called. Please help me. They stopped and looked down. One of them, Kola, shook his head. Who is she? I do not know. She is injured. Maybe she is drunk. Does that stop the blood? The second man peered at Halima's clothes. Hope no problem. Some people use old women for tricks now. You carry her. They will say you stole something. Amaka stared at him. She cannot stand. Kola shifted the hoe on his shoulder. Call her family. Her phone is missing. Then call police. The police post is closed. Both men began moving again. Amaka's voice sharpened. At least help me lift her to the path. Kola did not turn. You like carrying trouble on your head, Amaka. Your own life has not balanced. Their footsteps faded. Halima's eyes closed. Amaka tapped her shoulder. Ma, stay with me. I am here. What is your name? Halima. Halima what? A pause. Bello, where are you coming from? The center. Which center? Halima's lips moved, but no sound came. Amaka looked toward the village. The clinic was more than 2 kilometers away. The rain was returning. She had no motorcycle money. Her house was closer. She hated the choice in front of her, not because she wanted to abandon Halima, because she knew exactly how people would interpret kindness from a poor woman. A rich person could help a stranger and be called generous. A poor person did the same, and people asked what she wanted to steal. Amaka tied the burgundy shawl around Halima's shoulders, climbed out of the channel, and dragged her sack of firewood close. She removed the rope that held the sack and used it to fasten 2 branches into a rough support. It was not enough. She needed help. After 15 minutes, an elderly farmer pushing an empty wheelbarrow approached from the fields. His name was Baba Niyi. He looked at Halima, then at Amaka. What happened? I found her here. Is she breathing well? Yes, but she hit her head. Baba Niyi did not ask whether Halima had money. He lowered the wheelbarrow. Let us carry her carefully. Together, they helped Halima sit upright. When she did not complain of neck pain or numbness, they lifted her with one arm supporting her back and the other beneath her knees. Halima groaned, but remained conscious. Baba Niyi pushed slowly. Amaka walked beside the wheelbarrow, holding the folded scarf against Halima's forehead. At the first houses, people began to stare. A child called for his mother. 2 women came out from a veranda. Who is that? One asked. I do not know, Amaka replied. You do not know her, and you are carrying her home. She is injured. The woman laughed. Amaka, you have not paid market levy. Your roof is opening like basket. Yet you are collecting old women. Her friend folded her arms. Maybe she has family money. Amaka kept walking. Halima's eyes opened. Leave me at clinic, she murmured. The clinic may close before we reach there, Amaka said. My house is near. I will clean the wound, then find transport. Why? Amaka thought she had not heard properly. Why what, Ma? Why are you helping? The wheelbarrow bumped over a stone. Amaka steadied Halima's shoulder. Because you were on the ground, Ma. That is enough reason. Halima looked at her for a long moment. Then her eyes closed again. By the time they reached Amaka's house, 7 people had followed them. Nobody carried anything. They only followed. Baba Niyi helped place Halima on the mattress. Amaka thanked him and offered the last 2 akara balls from her bag. He took one. Keep the other. You have a guest now. After he left, the neighbors remained near the doorway. Amaka faced them. Please, give her air. One woman pointed at Halima's hand. See that ring? It was a gold ring set with a dark green stone. Another woman whistled. That one can repair your roof 3 times. Amaka's face hardened. Go home. We are only talking. Talk from your own house. They left slowly, disappointed that the injured woman had not yet produced a secret. Amaka boiled water, allowed it to cool, washed her hands and cleaned the mud around Halima's face without touching the wound itself. She gave her small sips of clean water, watching to make sure she could swallow. Halima opened her eyes again. My bag. It was not there, my phone, also gone. Halima tried to sit. Pain stopped her. Please lie down, Amaka said. I will take you to the clinic when I find a motorcycle. Halima looked around the room, bowls beneath the leaking roof. 1 stove, 1 bed, a wooden box used as a table, bundles of receipts tied with thread. You live alone? Yes, your husband. He died. I am sorry. Amaka nodded once. Rain began drumming on the zinc. Water dropped into the bowl near the bed. Halima watched Amaka move it closer. Your roof needs work. Amaka smiled without humor. It has been applying for attention. Halima almost laughed, but pain caught her breath. Amaka touched the back of her own hand to Halima's forehead. You are hot. I am managing. No, Ma, this one is beyond managing. She went outside to find transport. 3 motorcycle riders refused. One said blood would stain his seat. One demanded 4,000 naira. The third looked at the sky and said he did not want to enter the muddy clinic road. Amaka returned home, angry. Halima was awake, staring at the exercise book on the wooden box. You keep records? She asked. Small. For your business? For everything. Amaka opened the book to a blank page. She wrote the time she found Halima. 3:31 p.m. She wrote the place. Drainage behind Cassava Center. She wrote the visible injuries and the missing items Halima mentioned. Brown bag. Mobile phone. 1 shoe. Halima watched. Why are you writing? Because later people may ask what happened. Halima's eyes rested on her face. That is wise. Amaka shrugged. People forget truth quickly when money enters the room. Outside, somewhere beyond the rain, a white pickup slowed near the abandoned processing center. Wael Adebayo stepped down and walked behind the building. The thick-set man with the scar waited beside him. You said she fell, Wael said. She did. Where is she? When we left. She was not moving. Wael held Halima's phone in one hand. The screen showed a photograph of the blue truck. Another showed the machine. A third showed the scarred man's face. Wael swiped through the messages. He saw the name Victor George. He saw the heading Bello Harvest Foundation Board. Then he opened an email and read the signature at the bottom. Dr. Halima Bello, Chair, Board of Trustees. The color drained from his face. The scarred man noticed. Chairman? Wael looked toward the village. Find out who carried that woman. Why? Wael locked the phone. Because if she is alive, everybody who saw us there has become a problem. Wael did not return to the market that evening. He went to his office behind the village hall, locked the door, and placed Halima's phone on the table. The scarred man stood near the window. His name was Sola Akinlad. For 7 years, he had handled the jobs. Whale did not want written in committee minutes. Collecting unpaid levies. Removing stubborn traders. Warning farmers who asked to inspect accounts. Sola had never called himself a thug. He preferred field coordinator. Whale opened Halima's leather bag. Inside were 2 notebooks, a wallet, prescription glasses, a power bank, and a sealed brown envelope addressed to Victor George. There was also a printed copy of the anonymous letters. Whale read them twice. The second letter listed the serial numbers of 3 machines. One of those machines was now on the blue truck, heading toward a warehouse owned by his younger brother. "Who wrote this?" Whale asked. Sola shook his head. "I do not know. Somebody inside this village has been sending information. Maybe one of the women." "Which woman?" "They complain every day. Complaint is not the same as serial number." Whale leaned back. His office fan turned slowly above him. Each rotation made a clicking sound. Click, click, click. 3 years earlier, the Bello Harvest Foundation had approved 84 million naira for the Aiyetoro-Ketu project, 28 million for the building, 31 million for equipment, 10 million for the borehole and solar system, 9 million for training and women's cooperative loans, the remainder for transport, monitoring and administration. At first, Whale had intended to take only what he called his share. Everybody took a share. Contractors inflated prices. Local officials demanded facilitation. Drivers added fuel. Inspectors collected envelopes to sign reports without traveling. Whale told himself he was only moving with the system. Then the first transfer entered the project account. The amount looked different when it was sitting beneath his signature. He awarded the building contract to a company managed by his wife's cousin. He approved solar panels that cost less than half the invoiced price. He added names to the loan register and kept the debit cards. He sold 2 pieces of equipment after the launch ceremony and told the women they had gone for repairs. Nobody challenged him properly. Those who complained were removed from beneficiary lists. Those who kept quiet received fertilizer, cash, or market space. Whale began to believe silence was the same as innocence. Now Halima Bello had walked into the center with a camera. "Chairman," Sola said, "we can return her things somewhere. Let them think thieves attacked her. And the pictures? Delete them." Whale held up the phone. "Some have already uploaded." Sola's mouth tightened. Then maybe the old woman should not be found. Whale looked at him. The fan clicked above them. "Do not say foolish things in my office. I am only saying." "You are saying prison with confidence." Whale stood and walked to the window. From there, he could see the roofs of the village and the narrow road toward the market. "We do not touch her again," he said. "We make her useless." Sola frowned. "How?" "If she speaks, people must believe she is confused. If the woman who helped her speaks, people must believe she is a thief." "Who helped her?" A knock came at the door. Yemi entered without waiting. "I heard Amaka carried one old woman from behind the center," she said. "She brought her to that leaking room of hers." Whale turned. "Are you sure?" Half the street followed them. "The woman has blood on her head. Did Amaka call anybody?" "Not that I know." Whale looked at Sola. There it was. A poor widow. No family in the village. No political protection. Already disliked for asking questions. The perfect place to bury another person's truth. "Yemi," Wally said, "you will tell people to stay away from that house." "Why?" "The old woman may be unstable. Amaka may be taking advantage of her." Yemi's eyes sharpened with interest. "What did Amaka take?" "Nothing yet." "Then what should I say?" Whale closed the bag. "You have never needed my help to create a story." Yemi smiled. "No problem, Chairman." At Amaka's house, the rain continued until evening. Halima slept in short stretches. Each time she woke, Amaka asked simple questions. Her name, The day, where she felt pain, whether she could see clearly. Simi had taught the women some basic warning signs after a motorcycle crash killed a farmer who had gone home instead of seeking treatment. Amaka remembered enough to be worried. At 6:22, the rain weakened. Baba Niyi returned with a bicycle cart. "I found somebody who can push us to the clinic," he said. "Motorcycle people are afraid of mud." Amaka looked at Halima. The older woman was shivering. "Let us go." They wrapped a cloth around her shoulders and placed a folded sack beneath her head. The bicycle cart had no cover, so Baba Niyi tied an old tarpaulin above it using bamboo poles. Before they left, a woman named Bisi came to the doorway. Bisi lived 3 houses away and sold dried pepper. She had a loud voice and a talent for arriving after decisions were made. "Amaka, wait. What is it?" Bisi pointed to Halima's ring. "That hand is swelling." Amaka looked. The gold ring had become tight against Halima's finger. Simi had once cut a ring from a farmer's hand after a snake bite. Amaka knew swelling could trap it. "Ma Halima," she said, "your finger is swelling. Can I remove the ring before it becomes painful?" Halima opened her eyes. "The green stone? Yes, remove it." Bisi stepped closer. Amaka held up one hand. "You are standing here as witness. Witness for what? That she gave permission." Bisi laughed. "You and your record." Amaka rubbed a little cooking oil around the finger and eased the ring free. Halima winced. Amaka washed it, wrapped it inside a clean square of cloth, and placed it in a small enamel cup. Then she opened her exercise book. Friday, 6:29 p.m. 1 gold-colored ring with dark green stone removed from left hand due to swelling. Owner gave permission. Witness, B.C. Johnson. B.C. stared at the page. "You want me to sign?" "Yes." "For ring that is not my own, that is why." Bissy made a face, but she pressed her thumb into a small amount of charcoal dust mixed with water and placed the print beside her name. Halima watched the process. "Put it somewhere safe," she said. Amaka wrapped the ring again and tucked it inside a tin box beneath a stack of receipts. "Safe enough," she said. Busy's eyes followed the movement. That detail would travel through the village before the cart reached the clinic. By 7:04, Amaka, Baba Niyi, and Halima arrived at Aiyetoro Community Clinic. The clinic was a 2-room building with faded blue walls. A solar lantern hung in the reception area because the generator had no fuel. Simi Daniels was preparing to close when she heard the wheels outside. "What happened?" she asked. "I found her behind the processing center," Amaka said. "She fell, or somebody pushed her. I do not know." Simi moved quickly. "Bring her inside." Slowly. She examined Halima's pupils, blood pressure, pulse, and wound. She cleaned the cut properly and checked for tenderness along the neck, spine, and hip. "Ma, can you tell me your full name?" "Dr. Halima Bello." "What day is today?" "Friday." "Do you know where you are?" "A clinic in Aiyetoro-Ketu." "Do you know how you got here?" "A woman found me near the Foundation's Cassava Center." Halima turned her eyes toward Amaka. "She brought me." Simi looked at the bruise spreading across Halima's arm. "Did anybody hit you?" "They took my phone and bag. I was pulled. Then I fell." "Do you remember their faces?" "Yes." "Any vomiting?" "No, but blurred vision." "Earlier. It is better." Simi wrote carefully. She had no X-ray machine. No doctor was on duty. The nearest general hospital was more than 30 kilometers away. Halima needed observation and preferably a scan if symptoms worsened. "We should transfer you," Simi said. "To where?" "Odeda General Hospital." "How?" Amaka asked. Simi glanced toward the dark compound. "The clinic vehicle has not moved in 2 months. The battery is dead." "Can we hire a car?" "At this hour, maybe 20,000. More if the road is bad." Amaka's face fell. Halima reached for a pocket that was no longer there. "My wallet was in the bag." Simi studied her. "You said Bello. Are you connected to Bello Harvest Foundation?" Halima breathed slowly. I chair the board. The room became still. Amaka looked from Halima to Simi. Simi's pen stopped above the paper. Which board? Bello Harvest Foundation. Simi had seen the name on the old sign. She had also seen photographs of foundation representatives during the launch. But Halima had not attended. Whale and the state coordinator had cut the ribbon. Simi did not know whether to believe her. She also knew belief was not required for treatment. Do you remember a phone number? She asked. Halima closed her eyes. She recited the foundation office line. Simi tried it. The call failed twice, then rang without answer. Friday evening. Office closed. Any family number? Halima gave Dare's number from memory. This time, the network dropped after 4 digits were entered. Simi moved near the window. No signal. We will keep trying, she said. She cleaned the cut, applied sterile strips, and gave Halima fluids. She documented the bruise, swelling, and mental state. Then she wrote a complete list of what Halima had when she arrived. Ivory caftan, burgundy shawl, 1 beige shoe, silver branch brooch in possession of Amaka, no bag, no phone, ring removed earlier and held by Amaka, according to patient. Simi asked Halima to sign. Halima's signature shook, but it was readable. Amaka also signed. Why are you writing everything? Bissis asked from the doorway. She had followed the cart with 3 other women. Simi looked up, because this is a clinic, not a gossip meeting. Everybody outside. BC frowned. We only came to see whether she is alive. She will remain alive better if she has air. The women left reluctantly. At 8:11, Whale entered the clinic. Yemi followed him. Sola remained outside. Whale wore concern like a borrowed shirt. My people, he said. I heard there was an emergency. Simi moved between him and the examination bed. Who informed you? This is my village. I must know what happens. Halima's eyes opened. She stared at Whale. Recognition came slowly, then all at once. You, she said. Whale pressed one hand to his chest. Ma, you were there. Amaka looked at him. Whale's face remained smooth. I am sorry, I do not understand. At the center. I was in the market this morning. Many people saw me. In the afternoon, Wall gave Simi a troubled look. Has she been speaking like this? Simi's voice cooled. Speaking like what? Confused. She is oriented to time and place. She just accused me of something I know nothing about. Halima tried to sit. You know exactly who I am. Whale leaned closer, pretending sympathy. Mama. Rest. Nobody will harm you here. Do not call me Mama. For 1 second, anger flashed beneath Whale's expression. Then it vanished. He turned to Amaka. Where did you find her? Behind the cassava center. What were you doing there? Passing. With what? Firewood. Where is the firewood? Amaka blinked. I left it when I saw her. Yemi folded her arms. So there is no evidence you were passing with firewood. Amaka stared at her. What kind of question is that? A normal question. An old woman with expensive ring enters your house, and suddenly you are saying rescue. Whale raised one hand. Let us not accuse anybody. We are only trying to understand. Halima pointed at him. My phone is with your men. Whale gave a soft sigh. Simi, I think she needs psychiatric observation. Simi's eyes narrowed. You are not a clinician, and you are not a doctor. No. But I have assessed her, and confusion from a head injury is not the same as mental illness. Whale's mouth tightened. We should move her somewhere safer. She should be transferred to a hospital. I can arrange a vehicle. Halima's voice became firm. I will not enter your vehicle. Silence pressed against the room. Whale smiled again. Very well. Since she does not trust me, Amaka can keep her tonight, but the committee must know every item in that woman's possession. Simi lifted the paper. It is recorded. Give me a copy. When there is a lawful request. Whale looked at her for a long moment. Be careful, Nurse Simi. Your clinic depends on this community. The community also depends on correct records. Yemi drew in a breath. Nobody spoke to Whale that way in public. He turned and walked out. At the door, he stopped. Amaka, come to my office tomorrow morning. We will settle this matter before it grows legs. Amaka did not answer. Whale looked back at her. Did you hear me? Yes, sir. After he left, Simi locked the clinic door. You know that man? Amaka asked Halima. Halima lay back slowly. I saw him near the center after I fell. I heard his voice before I lost consciousness. Are you sure? Halima looked at her. Do I sound unsure? Amaka rubbed her arms. The room felt suddenly colder. Simi opened a drawer and removed her personal phone. I am taking pictures of this record, she said. The original will remain here. One copy will go to a colleague in Abeokuta. Why? Amaka asked. Because Chairman Whale did not come here to help anybody. At 9:06, the clinic generator coughed and died. Simi lit another lantern. She wanted Halima to remain under observation, but there was no staff for the night and no security. Amaka refused to leave her alone. Baba Nii offered to help move Halima back to Amaka's house. Before they left, Simi spoke privately to Amaka. If she vomits, becomes difficult to wake, starts speaking nonsense, or complains of worsening headache, bring her back immediately. Do not give alcohol. Do not give sleeping medicine, small water, light food only. Amaka nodded, and Amaka, yes? Do not let anybody take her anywhere without her consent. What if Whale comes? Consent does not become useless because somebody wears expensive clothes. They returned to the house at 9:44. The village was quiet, but eyes watched from dark windows. Inside, Amaka prepared thin pap. Halima drank a little, then asked for the exercise book. What do you want to see? Amaka asked. The receipts near your wall. Amaka hesitated. They are just market payments. May I look? Amaka brought them. The receipts covered 2 years. Market sanitation, security levy, borehole levy, women's development contribution, processing center maintenance, emergency sanitation, special inspection fee. Some had official stamps. Some carried only Yemi's signature. Some had no signature at all. Halima arranged them by date. Her head hurt, but anger made her alert. How many traders pay these? She asked. Maybe 80 on normal days. More on market day. How often is the processing levy? Every month. The center does not operate. They say they are repairing it. For 2 years? Amaka gave a tired smile. Repairs can be patient in this village. Halima turned over one receipt. Bello Women Enterprise Support. 5,000 Naira registration. Did you apply for a loan? Yes. Did you receive it? No. Were you told why? Yemi said my husband's family was not from here, so I was not a proper community member. But you paid registration. Yes. How many women applied? More than 100. How many received money? Amaka thought. Maybe 8. Some said the money was not loan. It was only 20,000 each. Halima closed her eyes. The foundation's report showed 113 women had received 80,000 Naira each. Every payment was marked complete. Every beneficiary had a signature or thumbprint. You said you studied accounting? Halima asked. Small course. I did not finish. You understand reconciliation? Amaka laughed quietly. I understand when money written on paper is not the money people saw. Halima opened her eyes. Do you still have your application? Amaka reached into the tin box and brought out a folded form. Halima read the program code. It matched the project. At the bottom was a handwritten note. Not eligible. Non-indigene widow. No guarantor. There was no such rule in the foundation agreement. Who wrote this? Halima asked. Yemi's secretary. Halima looked toward the leaking roof. Rainwater dropped steadily into a metal bowl. The foundation had reported that women like Amaka received capital, business training, and access to equipment. The report included photographs of smiling women wearing matching akara fabric. Halima now understood those women had been gathered for the launch. Their smiles had become evidence for money they never received. "Amaka," she said, "I need these receipts copied." "Why?" "Because they may prove the village has been charged for services already funded." Amaka studied her. "Are you truly the person you said you are?" "Yes." "Chairman of the foundation?" "Yes." Amaka sat back. For a moment, the room held only the sound of rain. Then Amaka shook her head. "What?" Halima asked. "I was thinking, about? If you are the chairman of that big foundation, how did you end inside my leaking house with one shoe?" Halima stared at her. Then she began to laugh. The laugh hurt her head, so it came out in small, broken pieces. Amaka laughed too. For the first time that day, fear loosened its grip. But outside, near the window, somebody was listening. Bisi had come to return the enamel cup Amaka lent her the previous week. She heard the words, chairman of the foundation. She heard receipts. She heard Halima ask for copies. Bisi stepped away quietly. By 10:30, she had told her sister. By 11, her sister had told Yemi's shop assistant. Before midnight, Yemi knew Halima was collecting records inside Amaka's house. At 1:12 on Saturday morning, Dare Bello's phone rang in Lagos. He woke before the second ring. Victor George's name showed on the screen. "Victor, we have a problem." Dare sat up. "What happened?" "Your mother missed 2 check-ins. Her driver says she left the vehicle on foot after a tire burst. He later got help, followed the road, and could not find her." Dare was already out of bed. Her tracker? The last signal was near Aiyetoro-Ketu at 12:31. The phone is now off. Why was she there without security? Victor said nothing. Dare closed his eyes. He knew the answer. Because Halima Bello believed security convoys frightened truth into hiding. "Has police been informed?" "Yes, quietly. We are sending a team from Abeokuta. I am leaving Lagos now. I will meet you on the road." Dare ended the call and stood in the dark. His wife stirred beside him. "What is it?" "My mother is missing." By 1:40, 2 vehicles had left the Bello family compound. By 2:15, Victor had obtained Halima's last location data. By 3:08, a security analyst discovered that several photographs from Halima's phone had uploaded automatically before the device went offline. The images showed a blue truck, a cassava machine, 3 men, and, in the background of one photograph, the side of a white pickup with a village development sticker. The registration number was partly visible. Victor enlarged the image. OGN 417 KA. At that exact time, Wales' white pickup stood behind his office. Sola was removing the sticker. Morning entered Aiyetoro-Ketu with rumors. Amaka woke at 5:50 after sleeping on a mat beside the bed. Halima was awake, watching the roof. "How is your head?" Amaka asked. "Painful, but clearer. Any vomiting?" "No. Can you see me well?" "Too well. You look tired." Amaka stood. "That one is not an emergency." She heated water and prepared pap. Halima ate slowly. At 6:30, somebody knocked. Amaka opened the door. Yemi stood outside with 2 market women. "Good morning," Amaka said. Yemi looked past her into the room. "How is our visitor?" "She is resting. We came to greet her. She does not need crowd." Yemi's smile thinned. "Amaka, move." "No." The word surprised both of them. Yemi leaned forward. "This woman is inside our community. As market chairwoman, I must confirm she is safe." She went to the clinic. "There is a record. I heard you removed her ring. She asked me to remove it because her hand was swelling. Where is it?" "Safe. Bring it." Halima's voice came from inside. "The ring is mine. I asked her to keep it." Yemi lifted her chin. "Mama. Do you know this woman?" "I know she saved me." "Did she tell you she is a widow with debt?" Halima stared at her. What does that have to do with my ring? Yemi's smile faltered. We only want to protect you. Then begin by leaving. One of the market women covered a laugh with her hand. Yemi's face darkened. She turned to Amaka. Chairman asked you to come to his office. I cannot leave her alone. You will come by 8. After I take her back to the clinic. Yemi stepped closer until their faces were less than a foot apart. You are playing with people above your roof level. Amaka's pulse jumped, but she did not move. Yemi lowered her voice. Do not say nobody warned you. She turned and walked away. At 7:18, Amaka found a motorcycle rider willing to carry Halima to the clinic at a reduced price. Baba Nii followed on his bicycle. The moment they left the house, people began whispering. That is the old woman. See how Amaka is holding her. They say the ring can buy land. They say she claims to own the foundation. Maybe Amaka taught her what to say. One man called out, Amaka, when you become millionaire, remember us. Laughter followed. Amaka kept walking. Halima heard every word. At the clinic, Simi examined her again. The headache had not worsened. Her speech was stronger. Her blood pressure was stable. I still prefer hospital assessment, Simi said, especially because of your age. I agree, Halima replied. But first, we need to reach my family. Simi's phone found signal near the back window. She dialed Dare's number. The call rang once. Then the signal vanished. She tried again. No connection. Halima recited Victor's number. Simi typed it. The call began to connect. A voice broke through. Hello? Hello, sir. I am calling from. The line died. Simi cursed under her breath. Try sending a message, Amaka said. Simi typed quickly. Dr. Halima Bello is alive at Aiyetoro-Ketu clinic. Head injury. Call urgently. The message showed pending. No delivery mark. Simi placed the phone near the window. We leave it there. A shadow crossed the doorway. Whale entered. This time, he carried a basket of fruit. Behind him came Yemi and Sola. My mother, Whaley said warmly. I am happy to see you looking better. Halima's expression went hard. I am not your mother. Whale placed the basket on a chair. Yesterday was confusion. Everybody was tense. You stole my phone. Whale smiled sadly at Simi. You see. Simi did not respond. Whale pulled a folded paper from his pocket. For her own safety, we should document that she is suffering temporary confusion after the fall. It will help when we transfer her. Simi took the paper. It stated that Halima showed disorientation, memory disturbance, and possible delusional identification. At the bottom was a space for Simi's signature. She read it twice. I will not sign this. Whale's smile faded. It is only a preliminary observation. It is a lie. You are saying I brought a lie into your clinic. I am saying these are not my findings. Yemi clicked her tongue. Simi, do not allow pride to spoil your job. Simi placed the paper on the fruit basket. My job is the reason I will not sign. Whale stepped closer. This clinic gets fuel from the development committee. When you release it, the water tank is filled by the committee. When the truck comes, the building belongs to this community, and the patient record belongs to the patient. Whale's eyes became cold. Give me yesterday's file. No, I am chairman. You are not next of kin, police or clinician. Halima watched him carefully. For the first time, Whale understood that intimidation had failed in a room where records existed. He turned to Amaka. Come outside. Amaka did not want to go. Halima nodded once. I am here. Outside, Whale walked beneath a mango tree. Yemi and Sola remained near the door. Whale took an envelope from his pocket. It was thick. He held it toward Amaka. What is this? She asked. Help. For what? Your roof, your market debt, medicine, whatever you need. Amaka did not touch it. Whale lowered his voice. The old woman is injured. She does not know what she is saying. You will sign one statement that you found her wandering near the center. You will say she fell alone. After that, we arrange proper care. I saw bruises on her arm. She fell. She said her bag and phone were taken. People who hit their head say many things. Amaka looked at the envelope. How much? Whale smiled. He thought the question meant victory. 200,000. Amaka's heart beat harder. 200,000 naira could repair the roof. It could clear market debts. It could restock her business. It could buy medicine and leave enough money for months. Whale saw the calculation on her face. Take it. Nobody will blame you. You are only correcting confusion. Amaka imagined sleeping without bowls beneath the roof. She imagined buying beans in bulk. She imagined no longer begging Yemi for 2 extra days to pay a levy. Then she imagined Halima in the drainage channel pressing a blood-soaked scarf to her own head. My bag, the woman had said. My phone. Whale pushed the envelope closer. Do not let stubbornness keep you poor. Amaka lifted her eyes. If the truth is confusion, why are you paying me to change it? The smile left Whale's face. This is not payment. What is it? Compassion. Compassion does not come with a statement. Whale's jaw tightened. You think you are intelligent because you can write numbers in one dirty book? No, sir. You think that woman will remember you when she enters her rich house? I do not know. She will forget this village before her car reaches the expressway. Then who will remain here with you? Amaka looked toward the clinic window. Halima was sitting upright, speaking to see me. I will remain with myself, Amaka said. Whale's voice dropped. When poverty enters a person's head, she begins to mistake stubbornness for dignity. Amaka stepped back. I will not sign. For a moment. Whale said nothing, then he slid the envelope into his pocket. Very well. He walked past her. At the clinic door, he turned. By this evening, you will understand that dignity does not stop rain. He left with Yemi and Sola. Amaka stood beneath the mango tree, shaking. Simi came outside. What did he want? For me to lie. And I refused. Simi looked toward Whale's pickup. You should not go home alone. Amaka tried to smile. Who will escort me? The same people laughing? Inside the vehicle, Whale spoke without looking at Yemi. Close her market space. Yemi nodded. And prepare the women for a community meeting tomorrow. What kind of meeting? The kind where everybody sees what happens to thieves. Sola shifted in the front seat. What thief? Whale stared through the windscreen. The one we are about to create. By 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, Amaka's market space had already been given to somebody else. She discovered it when she returned from the clinic to collect her stove. Her torn blue umbrella had been pulled down. The wooden table was outside the market gate. Her charcoal stove lay on its side. Oil had spilled into the dust. Yemi stood in the middle of the space, supervising a woman who sold plastic bowls. Amaka stopped. What happened here? Yemi did not look at her. You were told to pay your debt. I said I would pay after market day. Your market day is over. You cannot remove me without notice. Yemi laughed. Listen to her. Where is your lawyer? The nearby traders watched without speaking. Amaka picked up her stove. The leg had bent. My oil poured, then lick it from the ground. A few people laughed. Amaka turned toward them. 2 women lowered their faces. 1 man pretended to rearrange oranges. Yemi walked closer. You brought a stranger into the village. You are hiding her property. You are spreading accusations against Chairman Whale. Yet you want to sit in this market as if nothing happened. I did not accuse anybody. The old woman is accusing people from inside your house. She was attacked. According to who? According to her. A confused woman with blood in her head. She answered every question at the clinic. Yemi's expression sharpened. You are now a nurse. Know then, carry your bent stove and go. Amaka lifted the table with difficulty. One side dragged across the dirt. Nobody helped. Mama Tola stood near the Gary section, her eyes wet with shame. She wanted to step forward, but Yemi controlled the list for subsidized fertilizer. Her son's farm depended on that list. Fear held her where she stood. Amaka saw it. She did not blame Mama Tola in that moment. That made the pain worse. At the market gate, a motorcycle rider named Joseph slowed beside her. "I can carry the table," he said quietly. Amaka looked at him. "Will they not remove you from the loading point?" Joseph glanced back at Yemi. "They may. Then leave it." He got down anyway. "Poverty has already punished all of us. We should not help it do overtime." Together, they tied the table across the back of the motorcycle and moved it to Amaka's house. By noon, the rumor had changed again. Now people said Amaka had stolen a valuable ring and refused to release the old woman because she wanted a reward. By 1 o'clock, the story said, Halima carried a bag containing 2 million naira. By 2, Amaka had become part of a gang that targeted wealthy elderly travelers. No one asked where the other members of the gang were. Rumors did not need full-time staff. Inside the house, Halima sat on the plastic chair with a wet cloth against her forehead. Simi had allowed her to leave the clinic because Amaka promised to return if symptoms changed. Baba Niyi had moved the mattress closer to the window for air. Amaka entered carrying the damaged stove. Halima looked at it. "They removed your stall." "Yes, because of me. Because they wanted to." "That is not the same thing." Amaka set the stove down harder than she intended. "I know." Halima watched her face. "You regret helping me." Amaka did not answer at once. Outside, 2 women passed slowly, pretending not to listen. Amaka closed the door. "I regret that help is expensive when you are poor," she said. "That is different." Halima lowered the cloth. "I am sorry. Sorry will not return my space. No, and if your people do not come, they will." "You are certain?" Halima looked toward the window. "My son will turn Ogun State upside down before he accepts that I vanished." Amaka almost smiled. "Then let him start from the network tower." Halima smiled too, but it faded quickly. "Amaka, I can leave this house and sit at the clinic. That may reduce the pressure on you." "No. Whale is trying to collect you from there. You should protect yourself." Amaka sat on the floor beside the stove. "When my husband died, the contractor told us the accident was nobody's fault. Later, one worker said they had complained about the support beam for 4 days. Nobody wrote it down. Nobody took a picture. Nobody wanted trouble. The beam fell, 2 men died, and the contractor called it an act of God." Halima listened. Amaka ran one finger over the bent metal leg. "I used to think silence kept people safe. It does not. It only keeps the powerful comfortable." The words remained between them. Halima placed the wet cloth on the table. "Then let us make a proper record." For the next 2 hours, they worked. Amaka brought every receipt, application form, and note she had kept. Halima created categories on loose sheets of paper: official project charges, unreceipted levies, loan registrations, maintenance payments, dates equipment stopped operating, names of women who applied, names of women known to have received money. Amaka remembered figures other people forgot. The month the first grater failed. The week the borehole stopped. The date Yemi collected 5,000 naira from each applicant. The number of people at the so-called business training. 26, Amaka said. The report says 113, then 87 attended in spirit. Halima looked at her. Amaka's face remained serious for 1 second before both women laughed. The laughter died when somebody knocked. Baba Niyi entered with Mama Tola. Mama Tola held a plastic bag beneath her wrapper. "I came to return something," she said. She removed 3 folded papers. One was a loan approval letter in her name. The second was a repayment schedule showing she had received 80,000 naira. The third carried a thumbprint beside her name. Mama Tola's hands trembled. "I never saw this money," she said. "Yemi gave me the paper during the launch and said I should press my thumb so they would know I attended. Later, my grandson found these copies in Wales' office when he went to repair a window." Halima read the documents. "Did you repay anything?" "How will I repay money I did not collect? Your account shows 4 installments." Mama Tola stared. "Which account?" Halima pointed to a bank number printed at the bottom. Mama Tola shook her head. "That is not my account." Amaka looked at Halima. A pattern was forming, not random theft. A system. "Who else has documents like this?" Halima asked. Mama Tola swallowed. "Maybe many women. But they are afraid." "Afraid of what?" "Losing farm support. Losing market space. Being called enemies of the village." Halima folded the papers carefully. "I need copies. There is no photocopy shop here," Amaka said. Babaniyi lifted his old phone. "My camera is not clear, but it can see paper." They photographed each page beneath the window where the light was strongest. Halima dictated a message to Victor. "Dr. Halima Bello alive. Injured. Aiyetoro-Ketu. Evidence of project fraud. Contact clinic nurse Simi Daniels. Immediate extraction and evidence preservation required." Baba Niyi tried to send it. The message remained pending. He climbed onto a chair. 1 bar appeared. The message still did not move. He went outside and lifted the phone above his head. Nothing. "Go to the termite hill near the East Farm," Amaka said. "Network sometimes enters there." Baba Niyi tucked the phone into his shirt. "I will try." Mama Tola caught his arm. "Be careful." He nodded and left. At 2:47, Simi's earlier message finally delivered. She did not see the double mark because she was treating a woman with malaria. In Abeokuta, Victor's phone vibrated. He read the message once, then shouted for the driver to stop. Dare's SUV pulled over behind them. Victor ran to it. "She is alive." Dare opened the door before the vehicle fully stopped. "Where?" "Aiyetoro-Ketu clinic. Head injury." Dare closed his eyes for 1 second. Relief hit him so hard his knees weakened. Then anger followed. "What else?" Victor showed him the message. "Evidence of project fraud. Immediate extraction." Dare looked toward the road ahead. "How far?" "About 1 hour if the road is open." "Call the clinic." Victor tried. No connection. "Call the divisional police officer." "I already have." "Ambulance?" Coming from Abeokuta, Dare stepped out of the SUV. "We do not enter that village like a war. No sirens unless the ambulance needs them. No weapons displayed. No one touches anybody without police authority." Victor nodded. Dare's security chief approached. "Sir, we have 4 SUVs and 1 support vehicle." "Good. We are going to collect my mother, not invade a country." He looked at Victor again. "Bring the external auditor. She is 20 minutes behind us. Bring document bags, cameras, chain of custody forms." Victor understood. Dare did not only want Halima out. He wanted the truth to survive after the convoy left. Back in the village, Whaley was moving faster. Sola had found Baba Niyi near the termite hill, holding his phone toward the sky. He did not attack him. He simply stood nearby until the old man became nervous and walked away. But the message had already sent. Sola did not know. At 3:10, he reported to Whale. "The old man is trying to contact somebody." "What did he send?" "I could not see." "Then why are you standing here?" Sola's face hardened. "I am not going to beat an old man in daylight because you are afraid." Whale stared at him. For years, Sola had obeyed. Fear was beginning to loosen his loyalty. Whale changed his tone. "Nobody said beat him. We only need to resolve this before outsiders come." "How?" "We hold a community hearing tomorrow morning. We expose Amaka as a thief. We transfer the old woman to a hospital before she speaks to anybody. She will refuse. Then we say she lacks capacity. And the nurse. We deal with the nurse later. Yemi sat across the room. What evidence do we have against Amaka? Well opened a drawer. Inside was the envelope he had offered Amaka. 200,000 naira. He placed it on the desk. Yemi looked at him. No. Whale raised an eyebrow. You have a better idea? She keeps every paper. She will say it was planted. Everybody says that when money is found, what of the ring? She recorded it. Yemi frowned. How do you know? Bissy told your assistant. Yemi cursed softly. Whale leaned forward. Tonight, you will lead a welfare visit. While people distract her, somebody enters through the back window. Put the money beneath the mattress. Tomorrow, you search in front of witnesses. Yemi's face had lost its confidence. Chairman, this is becoming serious. It became serious when you removed her market space. You think she will protect you if investigators come? I only followed instruction. Then continue following. Yemi looked at the envelope. What if the old woman's family arrives tonight? They do not know where she is. Wale believed that because Halima's phone was still in his desk. He did not know about Simi's message. He did not know about the automatic photo upload. He did not know the convoy was already moving. At 5:30, the sky turned orange above Aiyetoro-Ketu. Amaka prepared rice for Halima with the last cup in her tin. She added no pepper because of the older woman's stomach. Halima ate half and insisted Amaka finish the rest. You have not eaten since morning, Halima said. I ate akara. That was yesterday. Amaka frowned. You are now counting my mouth. I am an economist. We count scarce resources. Amaka pushed the plate toward her. Then economize this rice. A knock interrupted them. Yemi's voice came from outside. Amaka, open. We came in peace. Amaka and Halima looked at each other. Amaka did not move. Yemi knocked again. With elders from the Women's Association. We only want to confirm Mama, Halima, is comfortable. Halima lowered her voice. Open. Let us hear them. Amaka moved the tin box containing the ring beneath a folded blanket in full view of Halima. Then she opened the door. Yemi entered with Bisi, 2 older women and a young man carrying a basket of fruit. Behind them stood several curious neighbors. The room filled at once. Yemi spread her hands. We are not enemies. The village is concerned. Halima sat upright. Concern arrived with an audience. One of the older women smiled nervously. We heard you are not well, Ma. I am recovering. Do you know where your family is? They are looking for me. Yemi sighed dramatically. You see, if they are looking, they may think Amaka is hiding you. I am not hidden. Then allow us to take you to Chairman's guest house. It has proper bed, generator and security. Halima's eyes narrowed. I would rather sleep in the drainage. A few neighbors laughed before Yemi turned on them. During the exchange, the young man with the fruit basket moved toward the back of the room. Amaka noticed. Put the basket there, she said, pointing beside the door. He obeyed. Then Bisi began coughing loudly. Everybody turned. She bent forward, holding her chest. One of the older women shouted for water. Amaka rushed to the pot. In those few seconds, the young man slipped through the curtain toward the back window. He had been told the mattress lay beneath it. He did not know Amaka had moved the bed closer to the front after Halima returned from the clinic. He searched quickly. The envelope stayed in his waistband. Amaka returned with water and saw the curtain moving. She stepped toward it. The young man came out holding a cup. I was looking for another cup, he said. There are cups near the pot. I did not see. Yemi took the water from Amaka and gave it to Bisi. Bisi drank, suddenly cured. The visit ended 5 minutes later. Outside, Yemi pulled the young man aside. Did you do it? He shook his head. The mattress moved. Yemi's eyes flashed. Useless boy. What should I do with the money? Keep it. We try again, but Whale did not have patience for another attempt. At 8 then that evening, he sent 2 men to cut the wire of Amaka's back window. They waited until Halima slept, and Amaka went outside to empty a bowl of rainwater. One man slipped through. He lifted the mattress and pushed the envelope deep beneath the center. Then he saw the tin box. He opened it. Inside lay the ring, receipts, Amaka's loan application, and the page recording Halima's rescue. He took the ring out, hesitated, then returned it. Whale wanted a theft accusation, not a missing ring that could lead directly to his men. The intruder closed the box and climbed out. Amaka returned seconds later. She noticed mud near the back wall. She noticed the curtain hook hanging loose. Her stomach tightened. She checked the tin box. The ring remained. The papers remained. She checked the window. The wire had been cut. Halima woke. Somebody entered. They searched the room. Nothing appeared missing. Then Halima looked at the mattress. Do not touch it. Amaka froze. Why? If they entered and took nothing, they may have left something. Amaka's breath shortened. They did not lift the mattress. Instead, Amaka went to Baba Ni's house and brought him back as a witness. Simi also came, carrying her phone. Simi recorded video before anybody touched the bed. Baba Ni lifted one corner. The brown envelope showed beneath the mattress. Nobody spoke. Simi moved closer with the camera. Do not open it yet. Amaka's hands shook. That is the envelope Whale offered me. Are you sure? Halima asked. Same color, same thickness. There are many brown envelopes, Simi said. We document what we know, not what we assume. She recorded the condition of the window, the mud, and the envelope's position. Then she used a clean plastic bag to lift it. Inside were bundles of cash, 200,000 naira. Baba Niyi sat heavily on the chair. They want to call you thief. Amaka pressed both hands to her mouth. Simi counted the money on video without removing the bands. Halima looked at the envelope's flap. A small blue ink mark showed near one corner. Whale had a pen leak on his finger when he visited the clinic, she said. Simi zoomed in. It was not proof by itself, but it was something. What do we do? Amaka asked. We report it, Simi said. To who? Whaley controls the local police post. The divisional office outside the village. No network. We keep the video in more than one place. Simi sent copies to Baba Ni's phone and Halima's email address, though none delivered immediately. She placed the envelope inside a clean clinic evidence bag, wrote the time and signatures across the seal, and photographed it. Then she made a mistake, born from caution. She took the envelope to the clinic for safekeeping. At dawn, one of Whale's informants saw her entering with the sealed bag. By 6:30 on Sunday morning, Whale knew the planted money had been found before the search. He changed the plan. Simi helped Amaka hide it, he told Yemi. Yemi stared at him. You want to accuse the nurse too? If she joins thieves, yes. This thing is growing. Then stop standing there and control it. Yemi swallowed. What about the money? We search the house first. When we do not find it, we say Amaka moved it. Then we search the clinic with community witnesses. And if Simi refuses, we suspend her. Can you suspend clinic staff? Whale slammed his palm on the desk. Do you want to ask law now? Yemi flinched. Whale lowered his voice. Bring the women. Bring the youth group. Bring the elders who owe us. Make noise before facts arrive. Noise was Whale's oldest weapon. By 8, a bell was moving through the village. Emergency community meeting, every household to attend. Serious theft involving development funds. At Amaka's house, Simi heard the announcement and went pale. They are moving first, she said. Halima stood slowly. You should remain seated, Amaka said. No, you still have headache. I also have a voice. Simi looked toward the road. We should lock the door and wait for help. What help? Amaka asked. My message delivered yesterday. I saw it this morning. Halima turned sharply. To the number you gave. Relief crossed Halima's face. When? About 2:47 yesterday afternoon. They should be close. Amaka looked outside. The square was filling. Walesmen were already untying the rope around her market table. A voice shouted from the road. Amaka Nwosu, come before the community. Simi caught her arm. Do not go. If I do not go, they will enter. Let them. They will destroy everything. Halima reached for her burgundy shawl. We go together. Amaka stared at her. You cannot walk that far. I walked farther to reach this trouble. Baba Nii arrived carrying a wooden stick. I will support her. They stepped outside. The path to the square was lined with people. Some looked worried. Some looked excited. Some had already decided Amaka was guilty because guilt made the gathering more interesting. Yemi stood on a raised concrete platform beside Wale. Her fuchsia gilo was tied higher than usual. Wale wore the same wine-red senator outfit from Friday, freshly pressed. On the platform lay Amaka's exercise book, the tin box, and several receipts. Her stomach dropped. They entered my house again, she whispered. Halima's grip tightened around Baba Ni's arm. In front of the platform, Amaka's stove and table had been placed like criminal exhibits. Wale raised his hand. The crowd quieted. My people, he began, we gathered because our village is under attack from greed. Amaka almost laughed at the cruelty of it. Wale continued, for years, outsiders have looked down on us. Now, one person living among us has chosen to disgrace Aiyetoro-Ketu by exploiting an injured old woman and stealing funds meant for poor women. Murmurs moved through the crowd. Yemi lifted Halima's ring between two fingers. We found this in Amaka's house. Amaka stepped forward. Put that down. Halima asked me to keep it. Yemi held up the page from Amaka's book. This paper she wrote herself? Bisi witnessed it. All eyes turned toward Bisi. Bisi stood near Yemi's shop, her lips parted. Yemi stared at her. Bisi's courage collapsed. I only put thumbprint, she said. I did not understand everything. Amaka looked at her as if struck. You were there. I said I did not understand. Halima stepped forward. I understand. The ring is mine. I asked Amaka to remove it because my hand was swelling. Wale spread his hands toward the crowd. You see how she has coached this poor old woman? I am not poor, Halima said. Laughter erupted. Yemi slapped her thigh. Listen to her. Everybody is billionaire when confusion enters. Halima's face went still. Wale turned to Amaka. Where is the 200,000 naira taken from the women's project account? I did not take any money. Then why was it found beneath your mattress? A shock ran through the crowd. Amaka pointed at him. You put it there. Wale stepped back theatrically. Me? You offered me the same amount at the clinic. Do you hear this woman? She is now accusing everybody. Simi came forward holding her phone. We recorded the envelope before touching it. The back window wire was cut. There was mud beneath the window. Yemi turned on her. And why did you carry the money away? To preserve it, or to share it? The crowd roared. Simi raised her voice. The envelope is sealed at the clinic with 4 signatures. Wale lifted one hand. This nurse has allowed herself to become part of a criminal plan. Until investigation is complete, she is suspended from the clinic. You do not have that authority, Simi said. I have authority to protect this community. Halima stepped between them. You are not protecting anybody. Wale looked at her with false patience. Mama, please sit. My name is Dr. Halima Bello. The crowd quieted slightly. I chair the board of Bello Harvest Foundation. Your project received 84 million naira. The machines have been removed. The loan register contains false signatures. Your men took my phone and bag after I photographed them behind the center. For 3 seconds, nobody moved. Then Whale laughed. It was a loud, deliberate laugh. Yemi joined him. Others followed because they did not know what else to do. Whale wiped his eye. 84 million. Foundation chairman. My people. Should we also ask whether she owns Central Bank? The laughter became stronger. Halima did not blink. You know who I am. I know you hit your head. You opened my phone. I have never touched your phone. You were at the center. I was in the market. Everybody saw me. In the morning. You came later. Whale turned to the crowd. Do we allow a stranger and one bitter widow to destroy the name of our village? No, several people shouted. Not everybody, but enough. Yemi pointed at Amaka. Since her husband died, she has been moving around as if suffering makes her special. She refuses fees. She challenges elders. Now she has carried a rich-looking stranger into her room and wants all of us to bow. Amaka's hands curled into fists. I asked for receipts. Yemi walked down from the platform. You asked because you think you are better than women who obey. I asked because money was collected. You are an ordinary akara seller, and you were once a fish seller. The square inhaled. Yemi stopped. Amaka knew at once she had crossed the line Yemi guarded most fiercely, the memory of where she came from. Yemi's palm struck Amaka's cheek. The sound snapped across the square. Amaka staggered. Halima reached for her, but Whaley's men stepped between them. Do not touch her, Halima shouted. Yemi pointed at Amaka's house. That structure is illegal. She has refused community charges for months. Remove the roof. Let her learn that stubborn mouth cannot shelter a body. Whale did not stop her. That was the permission. 2 men moved toward the house. Baba Nii blocked them with his stick. Solar approached from behind and took the stick from him. Old man, do not injure yourself. Baba Nii looked into Solar's face. Your mother gave birth to you with pain. Is this what you use your strength for? Solar's eyes shifted. He stepped aside, but another man continued. Amaka ran toward the house. Yemi caught the back of her blouse. You are not going anywhere. The cloth tore at the shoulder. People shouted, some in excitement, some in protest. The first man climbed onto the low wall and pulled at a zinc sheet. Amaka dropped to her knees. Please, that is my house. Whale stood above her. Your own roof is leaking, yet you are collecting strangers as if kindness will pay your debt. The first sheet came loose. It crashed beside Amaka's knees. Dust rose around her face. Someone kicked her akara tray from beneath the table. The remaining batter spilled into the red sand. Oil, beans, and ash mixed together. Break the remaining roof, Whale shouted. Yemi reached beneath the platform and lifted a second brown envelope she had prepared for display. We found this under her mattress, she screamed. She kidnapped that confused old woman because of money. Halima pushed past the man holding her. She saved my life. Nobody listened. Then the ground began to tremble. At first, people thought it was thunder. Then came the low growl of engines. Heads turned toward the eastern road. A black SUV appeared through the dust. Then another. Then 2 more. Behind them came a white ambulance and a gray support vehicle. The vehicles moved slowly. No sirens. No wild speed. Only the controlled arrival of people who knew exactly where they were going. The laughter died one voice at a time. The first SUV stopped at the edge of the square. A security officer stepped out and scanned the crowd. Then the rear door opened. Dare Bello emerged in a charcoal gray suit, white shirt, and royal blue tie. Dust touched his polished shoes before he had taken 3 steps. He did not look at Whale. He did not look at Yemi. His eyes found the woman in the mud-stained ivory kaftan. For 1 second, his face broke. Mum. Halima's shoulders dropped. The word crossed the square like a bell. Yemi's hand opened. The envelope fell. Whale did not move. Dare walked quickly to Halima and stopped just before touching her. Are you hurt? I am alive. Who did this? Halima looked toward Amaka. The woman on her knees kept me that way. Dare turned. He saw Amaka's torn blouse, swollen cheek and ruined food. He saw the broken roof behind her. He saw two men still standing on the wall with zinc sheets in their hands. His expression changed, not into rage, into something colder, control. Victor George stepped from the second SUV, carrying a document case. Behind him came two women from the external audit firm, a medical team, and officers from the divisional police station. The ambulance crew moved first. One paramedic approached Halima. Ma, we need to examine you. Halima nodded, then pointed at Amaka, her first. Amaka shook her head. No, Ma, I am fine. You were slapped. That one is not emergency. Halima's eyes flashed. Do not start sounding like me. A few people almost laughed, but shame stopped them. Dare knelt beside Amaka. She tried to stand. He raised one hand. Please, let the medic check you. Halima's voice cut across them. Nobody will kneel here again. Dare looked at his mother. Halima stood with one hand on the paramedic's arm. That is how they abused power. Stand up, both of you. Dare rose. He offered Amaka his hand. She took it. Whale found his voice. Mr. Bello, welcome to Aiyetoro-Ketu. This is a terrible misunderstanding. Dare turned slowly. Whale came forward with both hands open. We found your mother in the care of this woman. There were concerns about theft, so the community gathered to protect her. Halima stared at him. You did not protect me. The square fell silent again. You stole my phone, she continued. You took my bag. Your men dragged me behind the processing center. Then you tried to erase the woman who saved me. Whale's lips parted. Ma, with respect. Do not put respect inside the mouth that called me confused. Yemi stepped forward. Madam, we were only following what Chairman told us. We did not know who you were. Halima turned to her. That is your defense? Yemi swallowed. We thought you were a helpless old woman, and helpless old women deserve less truth. Yemi had no answer. Victor moved beside Dare. Sir, police are ready to secure the immediate area. Dare nodded. He addressed the officers, not the crowd. No one is to be touched without lawful cause. No one is to be prevented from leaving unless you determine there is a legal basis. We need my mother's missing property located, the damaged house documented, and the processing center preserved. The divisional officer, Inspector Ibrahim Yusuf, nodded. We will proceed properly. Whale's confidence returned slightly. You see, even the gentleman agrees there must be process. These accusations are from an injured woman. Simi stepped forward. I assessed her twice. She was oriented to time, place, and person. Whale pointed at her. This nurse is part of Amaka's plan. Victor opened his document case. Nurse Simi Daniels? Yes. You sent the message locating Dr. Bello? Yes. Do you have the original clinical record? Yes. Has it been altered? No, please keep it in your possession until police formally request it. We will take a certified copy with the patient's consent. Simi nodded. Whale's eyes moved through the crowd. He was looking for Sola. Sola stood near the back. For the first time, he was no longer beside Whale. Victor turned to Halima. Ma, your phone uploaded several images before it went offline. We have copies. A murmur passed through the square. Whale's face changed, only slightly, but Dare saw it. So the phone exists, Dare said. Whale lifted both hands. I know nothing about any phone. Sola looked away. Inspector Musa stepped closer. Chairman Whale, which vehicle did you use on Friday? My pickup, where is it? Behind my office. Registration OGN 417KA. Whale hesitated. Yes, Victor held up a printed photograph. The white pickup appeared in the background behind the cassava center. The registration was partly visible. Whale's mouth dried. That could be anywhere. Halima spoke quietly. It was behind the center while your men loaded equipment. Whale turned toward the crowd. My vehicle is used by committee staff. I cannot know every movement. Sola laughed once. The sound was small, but everybody heard it. Whale looked at him. Sola stepped forward. You came there yourself, he said. The square exploded with voices. Whale's face twisted. Be careful what you say. I am tired of being careful for you. Inspector Musa raised one hand. Everybody calm down. Sola looked at the officer. The phone and bag are inside Chairman's office drawer. Unless he moved them this morning. Whale lunged toward him. 2 officers stepped between them. Liar, Whale shouted. This criminal is trying to save himself. Sola did not deny being involved. I was there. I took the bag after she fell. Chairman opened the phone. He planned the story against Amaka. Yemi began backing away. Victor noticed. Madam in fuchsia, he said. Please remain available to speak with police. I am not going anywhere, Yemi replied too quickly. The crowd opened around her. Nobody wanted to stand close anymore. Inspector Musa assigned officers to secure Whale's office and pickup. He did not handcuff Whale in the square. He asked him to accompany the officers for a search with witnesses and proper documentation. Whale resisted with words, not force. You cannot search my office because of village gossip. We have a complainant, a witness statement, and possible stolen property, Musa replied. You may contact your lawyer. Whale looked toward Dare. This is your family using money to intimidate us. Dare's face remained calm. My family did not put my mother's phone in your drawer. The officers led Whale away. The crowd followed at a distance. Halima stopped them. Stay. People turned. You were present when this woman was humiliated, she said, pointing to Amaka. You can remain present long enough to hear what your silence helped create. Nobody moved. Amaka stood beside her ruined tray. Her face still burned. She did not feel victorious. Not yet. The roof was still broken. Her food was still in the sand. And the same people who had laughed were now staring at the convoy as if wealth itself had brought morality into the village. Halima saw that expression on her face. Amaka, she said softly. Bring the ring. Amaka looked toward the tin box on the platform. Yemi had taken it from the house. Victor collected the box, with Inspector Musa watching. Amaka opened it herself and removed the cloth bundle. She unfolded it. The green stone caught the sun. Halima held out her hand. Amaka placed the ring in her palm. On Friday at 6:29 p.m., I asked Amaka Nwosu to remove this ring because my finger was swelling. Halima told the crowd. She recorded it. She asked for a witness. She returned it now without demanding 1 naira. Bisi began to cry. Everybody looked at her. She covered her face. I was the witness, she said. I lied because Yemi was looking at me. Yemi snapped. Nobody forced you. Bisi lowered her hands. No. Fear forced me, but I allowed it. That was the first honest sentence the square had heard from the crowd all morning. Simi brought the clinic record. Halima gave consent for Victor and Inspector Musa to inspect the relevant entry. The inventory listed the ring and stated that Amaka held it with the patient's permission. The theft accusation collapsed in full daylight. Then Simi explained the envelope beneath the mattress. She showed the video, the cut wire, the mud, the untouched bed, the sealed money. Victor watched twice. Where is the envelope now? At the clinic. Good. Do not open it again. Police can document the seal and trace the bank bans. Yemi's face went grey. One of the audit women whispered to Victor. He nodded. Some project withdrawals were made in bundled cash, he said. The bank bans may carry dates and branch codes. Whale had believed cash left no memory. He was wrong. A police officer returned from Whale's office 40 minutes later. He carried a transparent evidence bag. Inside was Halima's brown leather bag. Another officer carried her phone. The crowd made a sound like wind moving through dry leaves. Inspector Musa held the items where Halima could identify them without touching. Are these yours? Yes. Recovered from a locked drawer in the office, identified as Chairman Wale Adebayo's. Wale stood between two officers, no longer smiling. He looked smaller, without the platform beneath him. This is a setup, he said. Halima's voice was quiet. You said you never touched my phone. Wale looked at Sola. Sola planted it. Sola nodded slowly. I took it. Then I handed it to you. Both things can be true. Inspector Musa addressed them. Further statements will be taken formally. Nobody will conduct trial here. That sentence mattered. The village square had already done enough, pretending to be a court. The paramedic insisted Halima enter the ambulance for transport to the hospital. She agreed only after Amaka's cheek and torn shoulder were examined. Dare turned to Amaka. We will cover your medical costs and every expense you used for my mother. Amaka's body stiffened. I did not help her for money. I know then do not make it look like I sold kindness. Dare held her gaze. Reimbursement is not purchase. You should not become poorer because you did what the rest of us should have done. Amaka looked at Halima. Halima nodded. Accept what is owed, not what is used to own you. Amaka breathed out. Only what I spent. Only what you spent, Dare agreed. He looked at the roof. And the damage? Amaka's eyes followed his. That one was not your mother. No, it was people in this village. Then they should repair it. Dare nodded. That answer pleased Halima more than any promise of a new house. Before entering the ambulance, Halima faced the crowd one last time. My convoy did not make Amaka truthful, she said. She was truthful when she had no witness, no protection, and no reason to believe help was coming. The cars only made some of you willing to listen. No one answered. The ambulance doors closed. As the vehicles prepared to leave, Amaka stood beside the broken house. Dare approached again. My mother wants you to come to the hospital. I cannot leave my house open. Victor spoke from behind him. We can arrange security until the scene is documented. Amaka looked at the officers photographing the roof and broken stall. She looked at Simi. Simi nodded. Go. I will stay until they finish. Amaka climbed into the ambulance beside Halima. The convoy moved out of Aiyetoro-Ketu slowly. This time, nobody laughed. Halima remained at the hospital for 3 nights. The scan showed a mild concussion, deep bruising around her hip and no skull fracture. Her wound required 6 stitches. The doctor ordered rest and warned her that stubbornness was not a medical treatment. Halima told him she had heard the same complaint before. Amaka stayed only until Dare arranged transport back to the village. Before leaving, she submitted a handwritten list of what she had spent. Transport to clinic. Clean cloth. Food. Water. 1 damaged headscarf. The total was 6,850 naira. Dare's assistant stared at the paper. Is that all? Amaka folded her arms. That is what I spent. There must be something else. There is always something else. But you asked for expenses, not my life history. Dare heard about the exchange and smiled for the first time since finding his mother. He approved exactly 6,850 naira. Nothing more entered Amaka's account that week. That mattered to her. Back in Aiyetoro-Ketu, the excitement of the convoy faded faster than the consequences. The divisional police sealed Wales' office, documented the processing center, and moved the recovered phone, bag, and cash into formal evidence. The external auditors requested bank statements, procurement invoices, beneficiary registers, and equipment serial numbers. What they found was worse than Halima expected. 47 women had thumbprints copied onto documents they had never seen. 9 beneficiaries existed only as names. 4 names belonged to women who had died before the loan program began. 3 supplier companies used the same telephone number. 2 machines were found inside a warehouse leased by Whale's younger brother. 1 solar invoice charged the foundation for 12 panels when only 8 had ever reached the village. The cash planted beneath Amaka's mattress carried bank bans from a withdrawal made from the project maintenance account 2 days earlier. The withdrawal form bore Whale's signature. It did not prove he personally pushed the envelope beneath the bed. But Solar's statement, the cut window, the video, and the bank record created a chain he could no longer laugh away. Yemi tried to separate herself from him. At first, she claimed she only organized the gathering. Then witnesses described her ordering the roof removed. She claimed Amaka's ring record was invented. Then Bissy admitted she had witnessed it. She claimed the market fees were lawful. Then auditors discovered several payments never entered any association account. Each lie forced her into another. Eventually, she stopped speaking without a lawyer. That was wiser than most of what she had done. The investigation did not end in one dramatic afternoon. It took months. Whale was charged with offenses connected to fraud, unlawful possession of Halima's property, assault, and obstruction of an investigation. Other people named in the procurement records were questioned separately. Some charges remained disputed. Some facts required bank confirmation. Some witnesses changed their stories twice before telling the truth. Justice moved slowly, but this time it moved with records. The village also had to face damage no court could measure easily. At the first public accountability meeting, Halima returned wearing an emerald green kaftan with burgundy head covering. She arrived in one vehicle with Victor and an auditor. No convoy, no banner, no praise singers. The meeting took place inside the primary school hall because Halima refused to stand on Whale's platform. Every chair faced the same direction. Every financial summary was printed in plain language. Every person who signed the attendance sheet received a copy. Halima began without greeting important people first. "Our foundation failed this community," she said. A murmur rose. Some expected her to speak only about Whale. She did not. "We trusted photographs instead of people. We accepted reports from those controlling the money. We allowed the same local committee to select beneficiaries, approve spending, and confirm delivery. That was not oversight. That was laziness, wearing professional clothes." Victor lowered his eyes. Halima continued, "When charity does not create accountability, it can strengthen the very people who oppress those it claims to help." Then she invited questions. For the first 10 minutes, nobody spoke. Amaka sat near the back in her repaired cobalt blue blouse and sunflower yellow wrapper. Her roof was still open in 2 places because police had asked that the damage remain documented until photographs were certified. Halima looked at her. "Amaka, ask something." Amaka stood. "Why did your officers not speak to the women before writing that 113 people received loans?" Victor answered. "They relied on signed registers submitted by the project committee." "That is not what I asked." The room shifted. Victor nodded. "You are right. We did not verify directly. Why? Cost, distance, poor planning, and because the reports looked complete." Amaka sat. Another woman raised her hand, then another. Questions came slowly, then all at once. Where was the maintenance money? Who approved the suppliers? Would the women be forced to repay loans they never received? Who owned the recovered machines? Could leaders remove traders without a written process? For the first time, the village meeting sounded less like a sermon and more like governance. The foundation cancelled every false loan balance. It appointed an independent audit firm for 2 years. New rules required 3 unrelated signatories for major spending, public posting of supplier prices, and quarterly verification with randomly selected beneficiaries. A complaints number was established outside the village committee. Every report could be submitted anonymously. No local leader controlled the line. The new beneficiary register was displayed on a public board for 14 days before money moved. People could challenge errors. They could ask to see records. They could refuse to thumbprint documents they did not understand. Simi helped design a safeguarding procedure for injured or elderly people brought to the clinic. Personal items had to be listed. Consent had to be recorded. A witness was required when valuables were removed for medical reasons. What Amaka had done with one exercise book became written practice. Restorative work began after the legal documentation of Amaka's house was complete. The association members who had ordered, carried out, or applauded the destruction were required under a settlement to contribute to repairs and replace the ruined goods. The Market Association returned unlawful fees. Yemi issued a public correction stating that Amaka had not stolen Halima's ring or project money. At first, Yemi's written apology said mistakes were made. Amaka rejected it. "Mistakes did not slap me," she said. "People did." The second version said actions were taken under pressure. Amaka rejected that too. "Pressure did not climb my roof." On the third attempt, Yemi stood before the market women without her fuchsia gilo. "I accused Amaka without proof," she said. "I struck her. I ordered damage to her home. I used my position to punish questions I did not like. I was wrong." Amaka listened. She did not hug her. She did not say everything was forgotten. Forgiveness was not a performance owed to the crowd. "I have heard you," she said. That was all. Yemi was removed from market leadership. She was barred from managing community funds for a period set by the association's revised rules. She repaid money traced to unapproved levies and completed community service under the terms of her case. Wales assets were not magically handed to Amaka. Some were frozen while the court examined their connection to project funds. The recovered equipment returned to the community. The processing center reopened only after repairs, safety checks, and operator training. Amaka received compensation for the roof, stall, ruined food, lost trading days, and medical expenses. She used part of it to buy a stronger stove. She used another part to repair the roof. The rest she kept in the bank. Halima offered her a role with the foundation. Amaka refused the first offer. "You do not know whether I can do the work," she said. "I have seen your records. You have seen my receipts. That is not the same as managing public money." Halima smiled. "What do you suggest?" "Training. Assessment. Same as anybody else, so that was what happened." Amaka attended 6 weeks of training in Aiyetoro-Ketu. She learned procurement basics, complaint handling, cash reconciliation, conflict of interest rules, and protection for whistleblowers. She struggled with computer spreadsheets during the first week. She nearly gave up when she deleted an entire column of figures. A younger trainee laughed. Amaka stayed after class and rebuilt the sheet line by line. By the final assessment, she scored second highest. The foundation appointed her community records and safeguarding assistant for Aiyetoro-Ketu. The salary was modest by Lagos standards. To Amaka, it meant rain could fall without deciding whether she bought medicine. She still sold akara on Saturdays. Some people asked why she continued. She replied, "A new chair does not mean old hunger has forgotten your address." 6 months after the convoy entered the village, the cassava processing center reopened. There was no red carpet. Halima refused a giant portrait of herself. The wall carried only the operating schedule, current prices, committee names, complaint number, and next audit date. Above the office window, a simple sentence had been painted in dark green letters: "No help without accountability." On the first morning, the machines began turning at 8:07. Women brought cassava in yellow basins. The repaired borehole ran steadily. Copies of the income and expense sheet hung behind transparent plastic where rain could not destroy them. Amaka sat at a desk near the entrance, wearing her cobalt blue blouse and sunflower yellow wrapper. The torn shoulder had been mended so neatly that only she knew where Yemi's hand had ripped it. Near noon, an elderly woman entered the office, holding a crumpled application form. Her name was missing from the cooperative list. A junior clerk barely glanced at the paper. "Mama, come back next week." The woman's face fell. "I walked from Okaro. We are busy." Amaka looked up. For 1 second, she saw Halima inside the drainage channel. Blood on ivory cloth. One shoe missing. A whole life reduced to somebody else's inconvenience. Amaka pulled an empty chair toward her desk. "Sit down, Ma," she said. "Let us check it properly." The clerk opened his mouth. Amaka looked at him. He closed it. Outside, the machines continued turning. The luxury vehicles had left long ago. Their tire marks had vanished after the first rain. What remained was not the excitement of a rich family entering a poor village. What remained was a question people had finally learned they were allowed to ask. Where did the money go? To me, that was the real convoy that entered Aiyetoro-Ketu. The arrival of accountability. Cars can frighten a crowd into silence for one afternoon. Records, courage, and fair procedures can protect human dignity long after the dust settles. This story is shared as a personal reflection on responsible leadership, respect for vulnerable people, and the danger of measuring a person's worth by clothing, income, or social position. It is not intended as an allegation against any real person, village, company, or institution.